Jai Shri Krishna. Welcome to our 18 weeks program. Today is the 8th day of the program. And I'm your host, Satyakalra. With the blessing of Swami Hariharji Maharaj, we are all together here today. And with his blessing, his guidance, who has changed the direction of my life and asked me to study Bhagavad Gita, write the books, spread Lord Krishna's message. So pranam Guruji for your blessing. And today's program is Journey Beyond Meditation. Where do we go from meditation? And it is based on this book, Yoga Beyond Asana, the complete guide for blissful life. So what are the blessings we are talking about here? This is a beautiful story about this book, because this book, from starting to end, only 2 weeks. It took only 2 weeks. I got the message in my meditation that I have to write this book. And I just arrived in India at that time because I had a whole week Saptah, Gita Saptah on bank of Ganga. So I just went there to Hyderabad about 3 weeks prior to the program because I had to prepare it and there were some other activities. But all of a sudden, in my meditation, I got the message that I have to take this book to the International Yoga Conference, where people just think that yoga is the asanas, postures, bodybuilding. And yoga is much more than bodybuilding. It is a complete guide for blissful life. And without knowing, in 2 weeks, where I just thought this book cannot be, basically in 2 weeks, I got the concept. How could I finish the book and take it in 2 weeks to Rishikesh? But with blessing of God, I could not sit in the meditation anymore. I had to get up, and all the information which was coming to me, pouring on me, I just put those points on my laptop in 15 minutes. And then the whole story started. I had no idea what I was writing. I did not have any editor. I did not have any publisher. I did not have a printer. I did not have any designer for graphic, anything. And with God's blessing, in 2 weeks, I had the book in my hand. And this book was blessed and inaugurated by many swamis during that conference, International Yoga Conference in 2012. Here Ramdev Babaji inaugurated. Many of you might know Swami Dhyana, who has boarded the body. And here Swami Radhakrishnan. Many people, you know him, he's an American fellow who is in USA, but who resides in Pune also. So it was really blessing to have this miracle in hands and blessed by everyone. And the contents of the book are basically, we're going to touch upon a little bit on the mind and meditation again, because this is a journey beyond meditation. So unless we know what is meditation and how to go beyond it, and then the energy healing with meditation, mainly the Samadhi part and meditation. And it is a combination of Today's session is a combination of my question and God's answers, which is the Bhagavad Gita, as you all know by now, and Yoga Beyond Asana. And mainly it is taken the Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali's. As we know, Gita is the GPS of life, practical guide for a spiritual life, or I would say guidance for peaceful and sattvic and truthful life, satya life, which gives us the awareness, help us to purify ourselves, shuddhikaran. And finally, when we are shuddh, when we are pure, we can realize who we are. Just like a water in the lake, if it is dirty, you cannot see through it. Or if the mirror is dirty, we cannot see our face in it. Or if the light bulb is dirty, the light cannot come through it. Similarly, if we are not pure, our mind is not pure, have a lot of problems and gile-shikwe in our mind, in our heart, we cannot experience the divinity within us. We cannot see who we are. No matter how much Bhagavad Gita we read, no matter how much bhajan kirtan we do, though all these things help us to purify, but our focus should be to purify ourselves. And again, Ashtanga Yoga, 8 steps of Patanjali's yoga. And these are those 8 steps: yama, niyama, asanas, pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So yoga, all 8 steps must be practiced within firmness, without any doubts, to attain the true yoga. This is what Bhagavad Gita says. And that's what Patanjali's yoga says. All these steps are important. Yama, universal morality, personal observation, basically ahimsa, how we should behave with others, should not steal from others, how to speak, all those things, whatever is in Bhagavad Gita. But in 8 steps in Patanjali's yoga, they are explained so well, step by step, very systematical approach. Where in Bhagavad Gita, you have to guess it sometime, where Bhakti Yoga goes, where Gyan Yoga goes, where Karma Yoga should I, and sometimes I used to get very confused. Should I do Seva? Should I do meditation? Should I do Bhajan Kirtan? What should I do? Which is the simplest path? And Gita spells it. Similarly, here, Patanjali had put everything together, that this all are important. Our body has to be functioning properly, so we have to do asanas. Our breath and our pranic energy needs to flow properly in our body. We also have to control our senses. Dharana, concentration, contemplation, meditation, finally the union with the divinity, samadhi, all this needs to be practiced, as Shri Krishna Patabijay says, that yoga is not just speaking about it. It is the 99% is the practice. And then 1% is theory. And that's why my whole focus is how to practice every moment in our life, how to live in the awareness of divinity in our life, which is also called meditation, and how to use these teachings. That's why my focus is, as I said before, being a medical scientist, I have been always focusing on applying the knowledge, whatever I learned, including Bhagavad Gita. So teachings are based on the applied science. So again, we cannot move beyond unless we become the Arjun here. So by reciting this verse, understanding where I am, it is very, very important that to me, as Swamiji told me, just become Arjun, which I did not understand, but now by reciting to me, this is what it is. Karpanya dosho pahat swabhava, paschami tvam dharma sammur cheta, yachsayani nishchitam brumi tanme, shishyaste ham shadi mam tvam prapanyam. I am your disciple. I cannot think straight. I'm murcheta. I need your help. I surrender to you. Please guide me, advise me. And then Lord Krishna guides and he says, I understand you cannot think straight because you are overwhelmed with all the issues what you are seeing here in the field, in Kurukshetra, with your fear, with your attachment. But you have to go beyond it. Nistraya guno bhav Arjuna. Triguna Vishya Veda. The Triguni Maya, Tamsik, Rajsik, Satvik, go beyond it. But then how to go beyond it? Because my mind is so filled with so much confusion, doubt. And Lord Krishna still emphasizes it. And he says, your problem is your attachment, our fear, which causes, which mainly our desires, which give the birth to anger if they're not fulfilled. If they are fulfilled, we develop more attachment, greed, fear, jealousy, all kind of problems because this is all in our mind. And of course, from the previous things, what we are carrying in our mind. And that's where we are confused. We cannot judge. And Lord Krishna again emphasized to Arjuna, he says, your problem, he says, Dhyato Vishyan Punsa. Whatever you are thinking right now, this is what your problem is. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, and Kar, 5 + 2 enemies. Dhyato Vishyan Punsa, Sangasteshu Jayate, Sanga Sanjayate Kama, Kama Krodho Vijayate, Krodha Bhavati Sammoha, Sammoha Smriti Vibhrama. And when Smriti Vibhrama, Smriti Branchad, Buddhi Nasha Pranchati. Our buddhi is destroyed, our mind, which is filled with many, many concerns, affects our buddhi. And of course, buddhi is becomes like a cloud. It stops. कहते हैं ना, अच्छी बुद्धि, खराब बुद्धि, बुद्धि घूम जाती है. And then we cannot make the right decisions. It all causes the stress. So how can we go beyond our mind? So it's a little bit to understand that our mind is nothing but a bundle of thoughts. It is like, we can say it's our treasure, but also it is a memory bank of our old sanskaras, our old habits, so we basically have to master our mind, because mind is the master of our senses, our 5 senses: nose, mouth, mind, ears, taste, touch. All those indriyas are controlled or control our mind. And Lord Arjuna says in chapter 6 is, you are asking me to control my mind, chanchal mana. How could I control this chanchal mana? because this chanchal mana cannot be controlled. And Lord Krishna says, Udher Atma Atmanevna Atmanev Vasade. Atmanev hi Atma Bandhu Atmanev Ripur Atmana. Our mind is our friend, or it could be enemy. If we make a best use of it, then we cannot say that we should be beyond our senses. Yes, we need to go beyond our senses, but God has given us many places you hear that the mind is a problem. Mind nahi hona chahiye. Arey mind nahi hoga, how would we work? Even in the mind, even the left side of the brain does not work. We cannot speak, we cannot move. There are beautiful video on YouTube with American fellow where his left brain got damaged and he could not do anything. And then when with the treatments and all that, when his left brain got activated again, he explains that the time when the left brain was subsidized, he had the best experiences. So in other words, the right brain, which is the left brain is more logical, ego, but right brain is the one which is more gives you connection. It's more like जिसे कहते हैं ना सरस्वती जहाँ होती है. It gives you wisdom. So they both are, mind is very, very important. But here it says, Bandhur Atma Atmanev, Yen Atmanev Atmanajit. The one who has become the master of their own mind, they can transform themselves, because bina mind we cannot do seva, we cannot do bhajan, kirtan. So mind is very, very important. It is up to us what we do with it. So why we cannot control our mind? Here again, because it is like a wind. If you put the mind upside down, it becomes wind. And again, as he said, it's a chanchal mana. Chanchal mana cannot be controlled. The frequency of our thoughts is faster than the frequency of the wind. But this wind can also be used for making the electric power. Similarly, we can use our brain to the best to reach to the highest level, have the pure energy. So there are many methods, as we discussed in Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, that we have to discipline ourselves. And meditation, Dhyana Yoga, is chapter 6 in Bhagavad Gita as well. So how can we have to purify ourselves, and we learn that by doing the seva. In due course of time, our mind gets purified. And that's why Lord Krishna says, even with the karma yoga, do the karma yoga. Sarva bhutite rata. Do the action with love and compassion, with wisdom, and surrender to me. And by doing that, we can transform ourselves. We can go beyond our limitations. Nistray guna bhav Arjuna. We can do that, and then we can experience God. And actually, when we do the seva, when we read the books, all this, we do feel so peaceful. But at the same time, the ultimate union, experiencing supreme power, it has to come to the connection with the mind and buddhi, go beyond mind and buddhi. And so we have to cross those steps and merge with supreme power. But the meditation, I call it meditation, as I said, meditation, station of the mind on the supreme. So to me, meditation is the gateway to liberation, experiencing. To me, it is a path which takes from miseries to moksha, through love, peace, anandam, and finally experience that I am satyakalra. I'm no different than God. So how to meditate? Lord Krishna already explains. There is In chapter 6, he gives the detailed description how to do it. But in chapter 5, in these two verses, 27 and 28, he says beautifully, go from outside to inside. Sprashan kratva bahir bayam, bahar se andar. Chakshu cha antre dhruvo, how you take your, what you are looking, you take your eyesight inside. Look inside instead of outside. Focus on your breath through your nostrils. Do exhalation through the exhalation and inhalation. Aparna. You have to, through our breath and pran shakti. When we focus on these things and when we practice, then what happens? Chatindriya mano buddhi, muni moksha parayana. He says, keep your goal that this is what you want to do. But at the same time, your indriya, your senses will get control, your mind will get control, and you will get out of this kam, krodh, lo, moh, ankar, all these 5 enemies, because you will be united with me. See, yes, sada mukta evsa, or sada yukta evsa. Sada mukti tabhi aayegi when we are sada yukta. In other words, live in the consciousness of God. So it says very beautifully in the verse in English, it explains that a sage certainly liberates himself and attains liberation by renouncing all the sense enjoyment, fixing the eyes and vision between the 2 eyes. Here it says how we should do the meditation, even gives the process. Regulating inward and outward breath by pranayam, meditation, controlling our senses, intellect becomes the stable equanimity. Sthit pragyasya. He's just taking us, because he spoke about Sthit pragyasya before. So he's just reminding us that what we will gain by doing the meditation. So meditation is the path to liberation. And again, our mind has the 3 levels. Conscious level, which is what we are doing. We are sitting in the body, we are talking about, that is the conscious level. And in the conscious level, all these conscious levels, subconscious level, supreme conscious level, we have to do the different practices. It's not like I can just do the meditation or read the books, or it's the whole package. So for body, which we live in the conscious level, we have to live in awareness and practice the goodness. These are the 5 monkeys, which are the symbol of goodness. And again, as think good, is again, ध्यान 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 योग. ध्यान योग में सब कुछ आ जाता है. Then see good. See goodness in everybody. Lord Krishna says in chapter 6, verse 30, Yo mam pashyati sarvatra. जो मुझ में सबको देखता है, मैं उसके लिए कभी भी जो है अलग नहीं. I'm always with that person. So yo mam pashyati sarvatra, sarvam cha mam pashyati. सब में see God in everyone. And then speak good, hear good, and speaking good. These are all verses are given in chapter 17, 14, 15, 16. And then do good, karmanya vadika raste. It's so beautiful. Each monkey has his own verse. And then practice karma yoga, bhakti yoga, asanas. Asanas are the seat of awareness, because we do it with breath. So then our subconscious mind, which has so much information from the old lifetimes, many janmoga, and what we have gathered so much from our childhood to now, this is all stored in our, I call it a slow cooker. It just keep brewing and brewing and brewing and giving us the products. But it can be purified. Remove all those limitations by Om Mantra, pranayam, meditation, heal our koshas, those panch koshas, chakras energy, which we talked about 2 weeks ago, to balance our chakra energy. And of course, affirmation, which we always do it in the meditation and prayers. And then we reach to the supreme conscious level, connect with our soul, which is the true yoga. And that's where now it comes the samadhi part. But here we do the yoga, we do the meditation, we have the Om mantra, we do the pranayam, everything. And then we also, our life becomes balanced. So we have to balance our life. As Lord Krishna again says, Yukta ahar viharasya, Yukta chetasya karmasu, Yukta swapna bodhasya, yoga bhakti dukkha. You cannot experience eternal happiness, peace, anandam, satyakalra, unless our life is balanced. So 24 hours again, and our whole lifetime, up to 25 years, we have one ashram. Then it starts our next ashram, Grastha ashram. Then it goes to our, and continues, takes us to sannyas. So all the ashrams, all that our shastras have described very beautifully. So samadhi means equanimity, sthit pragasya. So what is samadhi? Sama, when our buddhi is totally settled, our intellect is totally settled by practicing, then we can move to the next step. So all these practices which we talked about, it is purifying our buddhi and our mind. And again, as Lord Krishna says here, through the settled intellect, when one experiences the transcendental happiness, anandam, the ultimate state of bliss, which is equanimity, that is derived from deep meditation. That is beyond the reach of senses. One is never separated from the absolute truth, which is the ultimate yoga. So what is samadhi? Samadhi is the absolute state of full freedom from all the miseries. It's a conscious mind then merges with the supreme consciousness. And this is where the practices of the meditation come. And this is what the Patanjali Yoga's particular verse talks about it. But ultimately, it's a oneness with supreme consciousness. Experiencing Satchit Ananda, that is the ultimate experience, the purpose of life. Who am I? I am Satchit Ananda. So again, Samadhi. Samadhi is done actually, which is now the subject is journey beyond meditation. So Samadhi, to get to the Samadhi beyond meditation, there are threefold systematic process. This is what Patanjali's yoga says. And that's why they very systematically, when he talks about, he says Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. Dharana, basically contemplation. Like when we start our meditation, sometimes we start with the Tatak meditation. We bring the object like Krishna Bhagwanji's murti, Mata's murti, or some flower or light, whatever, that is all the dharana, because we are contemplating on some subject. But when we truly meditate on God, only God, nothing else, no breath, nothing, because we even focusing on the breath is a contemplation. Om mantra is a contemplation. But when you go beyond that, through all these dharanas, then you start experiencing the true meditation. So true meditation is when you contemplate on God, not on anything else, but just on God. That is called meditation. Contemplation could be doing any other type of, which is called meditation, like walking meditation, talking meditation, sitting, breathing, all these different type of meditation. And nowadays there are so many different type of meditation, just like the whole menu of meditations, and every activity they call it meditation. Even now in America, would you surprise, they call it a sex meditation. And the sex is being done through particular contemplation, and they call it that. So it's getting very distorted, but actually the meditation means only contemplating on God, only focusing on God. That is the true meditation. And through that, we can reach to Samadhi. And Samadhi again has the 4 levels. Level 1, which is called Savikalpa. This part is when we initially just sit and start contemplating on God or meditating on God. Even that time, lot of noise in our mind comes. That's why Arjuna asked Lord Krishna, my mind is so chanchal, I cannot focus, because he's speaking about this particular stage where mind is just, even the objects are coming or whatever is coming, still we cannot focus it. But then we go to the next level where our mind and breath, all these now working for us, because during contemplation, we use our breath, we use our mantra, we use all the senses focusing on one place. Now the system is calming down. The breath is becoming shorter, and that is called Savichara, the next level of Samadhi. Then we go to the next one, where even that go beyond, and we start, all of a sudden, we start smiling, our face smiles, we get the aura and all that, which we have talked about it. We start feeling so much internally peaceful and anandam. And that is the anandam level, 3rd Samadhi. But the ultimate Samadhi, when nothing is there, all is merged with supreme power. We don't feel anything. So this is the ultimate Samadhi, which is a beyond meditation. So samta, all these things bring us to samta. Up to meditation, we start getting samta. In Bhagavad Gita, there are samtas, word has been utilized, samta, sthit pragasya, about 66 times. See how important it is. And if you put it the sthit pragasya, then it becomes like 75 times. So this is a very important part that Lord Krishna has emphasized on it. So in Samadhi and meditation, what happens? One is totally dissolved. Meditator is no longer a meditator anymore. He becomes one with the whole universe, conscious level, which is called the supreme consciousness or the cosmic consciousness, and totally merges, totally oneness with divinity. And ultimately the experience is, I am Satchitananda. Even I am is not there anymore. Only Satchitananda is left. So in summary, we have to press Yama and Niyama, Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Asanas, Pranayam, all Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. All these are step by step, which takes us to ultimate freedom, where again, Patanjali's yoga, this is a combination of Patanjali's yoga and meditation, how all this is here. I will actually show you the video on that part, but how it uplifts us. And person becomes enlightened person, totally sthit pragasya, totally beyond 5 + 2 enemies, desires, anger, greed, attachment, ego, fear, jealousy, totally equanimous person, totally sthit pragya. And it says, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan manogatan, atmanev atmana tushta, sthit pragasya dochate. Everything is gone. We are so content and surrender, the final stage of the surrendering comes automatically. That's where it happened to Arjuna. Arjuna said, Nashto moha smriti labda, tvat prasadan maya yod, sthito asmin. This is the sthit pragasya he's talking about. Sthito asmin. How? Your kripa. And now I will do as you advise. Karishye vachanam tam. This is the stage when it comes to complete samadhi. But it's not that you go to complete samadhi and you experience that. During this process, Arjuna was not in complete samadhi when he said that. He got ready to perform his duty. So he reached to that level. So any time we are confused, when we surrender, Shishyasteham Shadimam Tvam Prapanyam, Lord Krishna blesses us with his blessings. He removes all the doubts and we are gone toward fulfilling our duties. So here it comes again, ultimately, the benefit, this is the benefits of what we get ultimately. We get the healthy body because whatever we are practicing, it is affecting our body, our mind, because our mind is affects our body. We become happy in a daily life and also we go beyond that. So again, we must live in self-awareness. That will lead us to purification, suchi. And then we transform and we realize who we are. So again, in summary, meditation is the gateway to liberation. And now I would like to share some movie with you, how to do the meditation to go to Samadhi. So one has to sit straight. How important it is to sit straight. Use your hand, the postures, Anjali Mudra, because it totally flows our energy within our body. Right thumb is up on the left thumb. Close your eyes very gently. And focus on your breath. Now the energy start developing around you. And see, when we are sitting, how many thoughts are bombarding on us. This is what Chanchal Mana. This is what Arjuna has been talking about. That when we sit for meditation, the first thing happens, all the worries, all the thoughts keep bombarding, does not allow us to concentrate, focus, meditate. So focus on breath through your nostril, all the way down to your stomach. And gradually by gradually, the breath will become shorter. And by becoming the breath being shorter, the thoughts will start disappearing little by little. Because right now it's the struggle between breath and the thoughts. The more we think, the more the breath goes faster. This is the fight between thoughts and mind and breath. Struggle. Chanchal mana. But then Lord Krishna assures Arjuna, don't worry, bring your focus back so that breath becomes shorter and shorter, and the more focusing. And by focusing on the breath, that's why Lord Krishna says, whenever the mind gets disturbed, bring it back to your breath and Om mantra. Then you can focus the light on the middle of the forehead. You will start to see that light very soon. Now the mind has calmed down. You can see the peace more on his head, on his face, and start connecting to the supreme power. And that's why we many times when we meditate, we feel the ants are crawling in our head. We feel a lot of sensation because it is connecting with the supreme power. We are being showered with the pure cosmic energy. And that cosmic energy now flowing through our body. And in the next slide, you will see the benefit of this cosmic energy at the physical level now. So you can, so as you can see, the benefits that our physical body gets healed. It's not just that we just go to the Samadhi part. So benefits is that we become our own self-healers. We can cure any disease. And there are many examples, but due to the lack of time, I would not share it. I won't be able to share it, but I just want to show you now how does the Om affects. It takes all the negativity. See, look at all the negativity in the body. It's gradually dissolving. And the light start coming from the body. This is how the aura changes in the body as well. So in the next slide, again, all these what we talk about, we need to practice, practice, practice. Without practicing, only talking will not do. Only talking about swimming or bicycling or driving, but unless we get behind the wheels and start practicing, theory